A new note from UBS predicts there could be a loss of 45,000 stores net in the retail space over the next 5 years. Joining us to discuss which names are most at risk and which companies can benefit is Michael Lasser, a retail analyst at UBS and the author of that note. Michael, welcome. Good to have you with us. The headline number sounds big, 45,000 stores net lost, but it is over 5 years. So really, it's not that huge a number, is it?
Well, Tyler, consider that there's about 960,000 retail stores in the United States, and we're projecting that that goes down to 915,000. So it's going to be a significant amount of capacity to come out of the retail sector. And basically what's happening is this sector is going through the process of natural selection, where the survival of the fittest is taking place. That's going to benefit the large, well-positioned retailers like a Walmart, Target, a Costco, and it's going to adversely impact the small, less well-positioned players. In fact, in the U.S., about 70% of retail stores are operated by those companies that have fewer than 500 employees. Those are the retailers that stand to be adversely impacted in this situation.
So the big get bigger, the small get smaller. I would think that one differentiator that might help some retailers would be to set aside a portion of their space for distribution and package pickup. True?
True, absolutely. Those retailers that are able to capitalize on e-commerce growth, which we're projecting grows from about 21% today to 26% over time. Those retailers that can capitalize on that, especially the ones that can harness the power of their physical locations, are going to be further advantaged in this environment. And we assume that about 20% of e-commerce sales are fulfilled by store. In fact, some retailers are doing a much better job of that. Target, as an example, more than 90% of its e-commerce orders are fulfilled by one of its stores. And so that's going to be a really powerful mechanism during this period to separate those that survive versus those that don't.
Yeah, I see that you like not just Target, but Walmart, Costco, Home Depot. Again, to your point that the bigger retailers have been able to manage their footprint a lot better than some of the smaller names. But what about, and I'm going to steal one of Tyler's favorite words here, the bifurcation that we're seeing in the consumer, which is more people, higher income individuals spending on luxury items, whereas lower income individuals here in America becoming increasingly more cost conscious. How does that play out when it comes to physical storefronts?
So Seema, I like this point because it's an important one, and the way it's going to play out with how it has an impact on the number of physical retail locations in the United States is that more of the trips are going to be consolidated amongst fewer retailers. If a consumer has to drive from one retailer to another, that's going to cost them time and it's going to cost them gas and other expenses. If they can consolidate their trips amongst a few large players like Walmart, like Costco, and like Target, they will stand to benefit from that trip consolidation where others stand to lose.
So about 45,000 stores is what your estimate will be closing over the next 5 years. It's about 5% of the total installed base right now. Could that be a higher number if the economy stumbles markedly?
Absolutely. That number could be 50% higher if we go through a more turbulent economic period. Keep in mind that as part of our assumption, we project that retail sales in the United States grow 4% on average annually. That's in line with what it's grown over the last 20 years. A period where it grows below that, and that would accelerate or dramatically increase some of these store closings that we're projecting.
What happens to shopping centers? I'm thinking of outdoor malls, not necessarily the enclosed malls, the big Westfield ones or the Simon property ones, but strip malls. Are they going to be hurt hard?
They do get adversely impacted in this environment. Right now, there's about 8.6 regional and super regional malls in the United States for every million households. In 2009, that was 8 regional and super regional malls per household. So we've already seen that number come down. But back in 1980, when e-commerce did not exist, and you and I were running around the mall as a place to hang out, there were only 8 super regional malls in the United States per million households. So there's still consolidation that needs to take place, and that means any retailer that's levered to those physical proximities are going to be at risk.